Did you watch the Terence Crawford, Earl Spence Jr. fight?
Yeah.
A lot of people are sort of trying to come up with reasons why Earl Spence didn't perform as well as they thought he was going to. But I think you just have to say Terence Crawford is that good. He's, in my opinion, the best switch hitter in boxing since Marvin Hagler. When you watch him fight, he's so precise. That's a big test. This guy's good, like world championship good. Is he ready for Terence Crawford? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Yeah,
a lot of people think
Terence
is too small. He weighed himself the other day. He was 185 pounds.
He just looks scrawny in the ring.
Well, he gets
at what,
down.
140, 150.
Well,
150.
he just won the 154-pound title, and before that he was fighting at welterweight, which is 147. But it's not like he doesn't have time to thicken up a little bit. And if he's walking around at 185, that means he probably cuts a considerable amount of weight to get down to 54.
100%.
But I think he's getting thicker. I think he's that good. He's just so skillful. He's so slick. And he's also the best guy in the sport at switch hitting. He'll go from southpaw to orthodox and be just as good and trip you up. Like you think he's going to start southpaw, he starts orthodox. You prepare for orthodox, he's fighting southpaw.
Joe Rogan has just shared his insights on how Terence Crawford can dethrone the Mexican monster Canelo Alvarez. However, Joe Rogan hailed Terence Crawford as a one-of-a-kind fighter, describing him as exceptionally sharp and technically brilliant. He pointed out Crawford's unmatched talent for switching stances effortlessly, calling him the top fighter in the game when it comes to that skill. Rogan also underscored Crawford's pinpoint accuracy, strategic mind, and masterful sense of distance, timing, and anticipation inside the ring.
I think he's that good. He's just so skillful. He's so slick. And he's also the best guy in the sport at switch hitting. He'll go from southpaw to orthodox and be just as good and trip you up. Like you think he's going to start southpaw, he starts orthodox. You prepare for orthodox, he's fighting southpaw. He feels like he's got you timed better orthodox, he'll switch it up.
Super accurate.
Oh, just knows so much about boxing, about where to be and what's coming. And
Joe Rogan also mentioned that Terence Crawford's body type fits his fighting style really well. He said Crawford has the right build and stamina for how he moves and competes in the ring. Rogan pointed out that adding more weight might actually hurt his performance, possibly making him slower. He explained that Crawford is in the ideal shape for his weight class and called him a killer, showing just how sharp and dangerous he is in his current form.
I think part of his style is he's built perfect for the way he fights.
Yeah.
Amazing. He's got perfect endurance. If you put more weight on him, he'd probably be weighed down a little bit, slow him down. He's definitely in his zone with 40, 47.
Yeah.
That's the right weight class.
Boxing's having a killer year, man.
On the other hand, Danny Garcia thinks Canelo Alvarez is nearly impossible to beat at 168 pounds. He says that weight class suits Canelo really well and points out that Canelo has already beaten all the key names in the division. Garcia believes Canelo holds a clear advantage in both strength and size. Even if Terence Crawford moved up to face him now, Garcia would still pick Canelo despite how talented Crawford is. In his eyes, the only one who could truly give Canelo a tough challenge at 168 is David Benavidez. Other than Benavidez, Garcia doesn't believe anyone else stands much of a chance.
At 168, I just can't see nobody beating Canelo at that weight. That's his weight. He beat everybody at the weight. That's his weight. That's the perfect weight for Canelo. So, Canelo faced probably better competition. He's gonna be the bigger guy, stronger. So if they fought each other right now at 168, Crawford got the skills, but I'll probably go with Canelo because I really can't see. Oh, besides Benavidez, that's probably the only guy that could probably beat Canelo on 168, but I can't see nobody else beating Canelo on 168. That's his weight.
However, Joe Rogan said that if Terence Crawford ends up fighting Canelo Alvarez, his main concern is whether Crawford will be big enough to handle Canelo's power. He pointed out how hard Canelo hits and questioned if Crawford can keep him off. Rogan also brought up how some people tried to downplay Crawford's dominant win over Errol Spence by saying Spence was already damaged from his car accident, but Rogan pushed back on that idea, saying maybe Crawford would have dominated him just the same 3 years ago.
Crawford's about to fight.
Yes, he's gonna fight Canelo.
Oh man.
I just hope he's big enough. I hope he's big enough to keep that dude off him because Canelo hits so hard, man.
That's one dude that I believe all the he be talking.
Crawford? Yeah. Oh, he's good.
He don't just be saying That dude.
They tried to say that like Errol Spence was damaged because of what Crawford did to him because he was damaged from the car accident. I'm like, maybe. Or maybe Crawford would have done that 3 years ago.
Joe Rogan also expressed his excitement about a potential Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight, calling it a massive event. He acknowledged concerns that Crawford might be too small for the challenge, but noted that Crawford recently weighed in at 185 pounds and has been adding size and strength, despite starting his career at lighter weights like 147 and recently winning a title at 154. Rogan believes Crawford is physically developing and adapting well. He highlighted that Crawford was seen deadlifting 450 pounds, showing serious power gains, though he joked that those lifts can be tough on the back.
You know what I'm excited for, man? Terence Crawford and Canelo. That's
gonna be a big one.
That's the one.
That's a big, huge fight.
That's the one.
That's
That's
the
the
one.
one.
Yeah,
A lot
that's
of
the
people
one for the year.
think Terence is too small. He weighed himself the other day. He was 185 pounds.
He just looks scrawny in the ring.
Well, he
fought
gets
at what,
down.
140, 150.
Well,
150.
he just won the 154-pound title, and before that he was fighting at welterweight, which is 147. But it's not like he doesn't have time to like thicken up a little bit. And if he's walking around at 185, that means he probably cuts a considerable amount of weight to get down to 54.
100%.
But I think he's getting thicker, and he was deadlifting 450 pounds the other day. Like,
You like deadlifts?
I think they can fuck your back up.
But Rollie Romero believes size will be the deciding factor if Terence Crawford faces Canelo Alvarez. He didn't hold back, saying anyone who thinks Crawford has a real shot is, in his words, a complete idiot. Romero argued that weight classes exist for a reason, and Canelo isn't just bigger, he's also highly skilled. In his opinion, this fight isn't about comparing talent or technique, but simply about physical size. And because of that, he doesn't think Crawford has any chance of winning.
We got Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with weight.
However, Joe Rogan also talks about Canelo Alvarez's punching power, saying it's one of the most dangerous aspects of his game. He emphasized how hard Canelo hits and questioned whether smaller fighters like Terence Crawford could handle that kind of power, especially over the course of a full fight against a naturally bigger opponent.
There's just guys that just have preposterous power, and Canelo is a guy that has power but is constantly working on it. There's a great clip of him working with Andy Ruiz. You know that shield, that weird hand shield that they hold up for hooks?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is not for speed. This is just power. Just power. He's like, don't try to be fast with this, just power. And you see him, bro, he hits so hard.
Joe Rogan further talked about how Canelo Alvarez learned valuable lessons from his fight with Floyd Mayweather. He pointed out that in their bout, Canelo was standing right in front of Floyd and missing punches, which served as a wake-up call for him. Rogan noted that after that, Canelo's head movement improved dramatically, especially when he fought Danny Jacob.
When he fought Canelo, and he was like standing right in front of Canelo, and Canelo's just whiffing, it was a life lesson. And then you look at how good Canelo's head movement got after that fight when he realized it. I mean, my God, when he fought Danny Jacobs and Canelo's just standing right in front of him, bobbing. That's all what he learned from fighting Floyd.
Teofimo Lopez also said that Canelo Alvarez improved significantly after his fight with Floyd Mayweather, although he has shown some slight decline in recent times. He mentioned that stylistically, Crawford could stay in the fight for a while, but the weight difference would pose a major challenge. Despite Crawford's skill, Lopez believes Canelo would ultimately win the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think stylistically, Crawford could stay in there long enough. However, it's just with the weight, and I mean, Canelo, he's gotten better ever since Mayweather, but now he's decreased a little bit. Nevertheless, though, I think that I think Canelo will get him.
Moreover, Eddie Hearn described the potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight as an exciting clash between two of the sport's most gifted talents. He acknowledged that moving up in weight to 168 pounds would be a tough challenge for Crawford, but suggested that Crawford's exceptional ring movement and boxing IQ might give him a chance. However, Hearn also pointed out that while 168 pounds is the official weight limit, Canelo could come into the ring on fight night weighing closer to 180 to 185 pounds, which would make it an even greater hurdle for Crawford to overcome.
I think it's a very intriguing fight, two generational greats.
You know, I think it's very difficult for Bud moving up that high in weight, but if anyone can do it, it might be him. You know, his movement and his IQ is second to none. But it's different when you're facing Canelo Alvarez up there. You know, not just at 168, but on the night, probably 180, 185. You know, it's going to be a big task.
Keyshawn Davis predicted that Canelo would look to pressure Terence Crawford, attempting to land heavy shots. However, he believes Crawford's agility and boxing skills would allow him to dodge those punches, particularly as the fight goes on. Keyshawn expects Crawford to increase his tempo in the later rounds, making it harder for Canelo to land clean strikes.
Middle rounds, of course, picking it up, and I feel like at the end, that's when they gonna really open up. But I see Canelo trying to walk Bud down, walk him into some shots, and I just feel like, you know, Canelo probably gonna be walking into a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Cat and mouse.
Yeah.
You know? Square circle.
Keyshawn also discussed the idea that a loss could damage Crawford's legacy, strongly asserting that it wouldn't. He compared it to Canelo's loss to Dimitri Bivol, where Canelo's legacy wasn't tarnished after stepping up in weight to face him. Keyshawn believes Crawford's legacy would remain unaffected, viewing it as a win-win for him. As for Canelo, he feels that even if he lost, it would still be a financial win for him due to the massive payday he'd earned from such a big fight.
You feel like that ruins his legacy?
Hell no.
That's Canelo.
No. It ain't real Canelo legacy when he moved up and tried to fight Bivol and he lost.
Yeah.
He moved up and tried to be great. And he lost. You know, so he ain't gonna ruin Crawford's legacy. And he that's a win-win for him. For sure, but I think he gonna win the fight for sure.
Is it still a win-win for Canelo too? Or if he takes that fight and loses, people are gonna be like,
I think it's a win-win because he getting a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
Robert Garcia expressed that while he would love to see Terence Crawford win, he believes Canelo Alvarez is the more likely victor. Garcia recalls when Top Rank asked for their opinion before signing Crawford, and both he and Mikey Garcia praised Crawford as a great fighter. Despite his connection to Crawford, Garcia still predicts Canelo will win, but acknowledges Crawford has a chance.
I see Canelo winning, and I'm not, you know, I don't know Canelo very well. I'll say hi to him if I see him. He'll say hi to me too, but we're not friends. You know, I could probably say I've spent more time with Crawford, so I would love to see Crawford pull it off. I would be more happy to see Crawford win, you know, because I know him better. I see him develop in Top Rank. Top Rank actually were asking for our opinion before they signed him.
What'd you say?
What do you guys think? Mikey said he's a great fucking fighter. You know, sign him. He's a fucking great fighter. So you know, I know him better. I would love to see him pull it off, and he could. But I still see, I don't know, I see Canelo winning.
Garcia also discussed the impact of Crawford defeating Canelo, saying it would solidify Crawford's place among the top 3 or at least top 5 greatest fighters of all time. He described such a victory as huge and unbelievable, highlighting how remarkable it would be for Crawford to achieve undisputed status in 3 different weight classes.
Bud says if he beats Canelo, he's in the top 3 GOATs, greatest of all time.
It's definitely. I think he maybe top 5, but he will be up there.
How huge is that win?
It's huge, man. It's huge, very huge, very huge. That would be unbelievable, man. You know, that would be awesome. That would be a 3 undisputed in three divisions.
Tim Tijou believes Terence Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo Alvarez, but he notes that it depends on which version of Canelo shows up. He recognizes Canelo's vast experience, but also acknowledges that after many fights, fighters can experience a decline. Tijou finds the matchup intriguing and exciting.
I think he can outbox Canelo. It depends on what kind of Canelo rocks up, and because Canelo is very, very experienced, but at the same time he's had a lot of fights, which means that, you know, there is a time that you do go downhill as well. So I don't know, it's an interesting fight.
Chu also pointed out that while Canelo used to fight at 154 pounds, the weight difference between him and Crawford isn't enormous. However, he highlighted that Crawford is moving up from 130 pounds, making him much smaller than Canelo. Despite this, Chu described Canelo as a mini tank with thick, stocky bones, which makes him a tough opponent.
Yeah, but the thing is, Canelo used to be at 154 as well, you know? So there is a slight weight division difference, but then Terence is coming up from, 130? So
yeah,
there
he's
is
a lot smaller. Yeah, Canelo's like a little mini tank, man. He's like, his bones are he's just like a stocky dude.
Thick.
Shakur Stevenson believes Terence Crawford has the potential to easily win by outboxing Canelo Alvarez. Despite knowing that some may view this as disrespecting a top fighter like Canelo, Shakur is confident in Crawford's abilities. With his deep understanding of boxing, Shakur is certain that Crawford has the right skills to defeat Canelo. He highlighted Crawford's southpaw stance, footwork, speed, and sharpness as crucial factors that would give him the advantage in the fight.
Obviously, his fight with Canelo, September. Tell me how you see it, man. I know the budget, man, so of course you're going to say you're going to win,
Man,
but how you see it, though?
But by outboxing the shit out of him.
Like easy work?
Yes.
You be disrespecting the top niggas, Cole. I ain't gonna lie. You disrespecting the top niggas.
Yo, I'm really like 80-90% with this boxing shit. Like, I be calling shit out. But I just feel as though, like, Bud really got all the ingredients to beat a Canelo. Like, being southpaw, having the feet work, being fast, sharp. I think he got all the ingredients.
Lonnie B expressed doubt that the Canelo versus Crawford fight will actually happen, suggesting it might just be a way to test the level of interest. However, he acknowledged that if the fight did take place, it would likely draw a lot of attention and do really well. While he recognizes Crawford's impressive skills, Lonnie B believes size plays a significant role in boxing. He stated that a great big man will always beat a great small man, but a great small man can still defeat a good big man. In his view, Canelo is a great big man.
I don't believe that's gonna happen, but if they say it's gonna happen, I guess so. But
why you don't think it's gonna happen?
I just think it's all bluff. I think they're just putting the string out there to see if it'll do well, which I think the fight will do extremely well. But I think like Crawford got skills, but I think size matters in boxing. I think a great big man always beats a great small man. You know, but I think a great small man beats a good big man. I think Canelo's a great big man.
Greg Hackett mentioned that while he can't say for sure what Terence "Bud" Crawford is incapable of, he doesn't see Crawford being able to knock out Canelo Alvarez. However, he acknowledged that if Crawford believes he can, that's his decision. Hackett leaned toward favoring Canelo in the fight, giving him a slight advantage. While he's a fan of Crawford and respects his skills, Hackett believes that moving up to 168 pounds might make Crawford more cautious. He speculated that despite Crawford's speed and strength, Canelo's power at that weight could cause Crawford to hesitate and think twice before throwing punches.
I mean, I can't say what a man can't do. You know what I mean? But do I see that happening? Yeah. No, I don't see it happening. But if he believe it, hey, I mean, I want to see.
Who would you favor in that fight? You like Bud by decision?
Slight edge to Canelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Bud. I'm a fan of Bud. I think Bud is a great fighter, but I just think 68 is gonna make him a little bit hesitant. He gonna feel good. He gonna be strong. He gonna have some good speed, but I think he's just gonna be a little bit hesitant. He won't pull the trigger right away.
Jim Lampley stated that Canelo Alvarez has never truly been hurt in the ring and has faced much larger opponents than Terence Crawford, including Sergey Kovalev and Dmitry Bivol. He suggested that Crawford's best chance to win would be to outbox Canelo throughout the entire fight, as that seems to be the most effective approach. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about Joe Rogan's comments? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other videos on the screen right now.